What is good with y'all? It's Crunch Time TV. We got an interesting topic this morning. Basically, we're gonna get straight to it, right? So Stephen Curry fans, basically what they're doing is they are calling out the hypocrisy and they're calling out the bias that the media has towards Michael Jordan and LeBron. And the reason why they're doing that is because basically Steve Kerr just did a video explaining how Stephen Curry is age 35. And I said this numerous times that Stephen Curry is 35 years old in his prime. The only people I've seen play at this level at age 35, though, would happen to be Michael Jordan and LeBron James. That's all I can think about. And Kobe until he tore his Achilles, but he was 34 going on 35. But so basically this was Steve Kerr said.
I watched him in a scrimmage 2 days ago score like 15 straight points to bring his team back to have a shot at the buzzer, including a 4-point play. The guy's incredible. We're a week into training camp, and he's out there, 35 years old, just destroying everybody. He's amazing.
35 years old, destroying everybody. And so basically fans are on Twitter right now and all over the NBA social media basically saying they want to hear the same energy that all the media fanboys, this is what they're saying on Twitter. They going crazy. They want to hear that they have the same energy for Stephen Curry that they have for LeBron when they say it's amazing what LeBron was doing at age 35 because I mean Steph just dropped 50 points in the playoffs at age 35, right? Just like how LeBron James, I think he was 35 when he did it against the Warriors when he dropped 50 in the playoff. Now look, my whole point to y'all is this. I'm not trying to tear nobody down. I'm trying to shine a light on Stephen Curry because I do believe that he should be in top 5 conversations. So I want to ask y'all, the panel, what y'all think about this though? Like, first of all, like what y'all think about Steph being at age 35 right now?
Thomas, you want to take it first?
He on mute.
I'll go. So, pretty much when I look at it in comparison, like you were saying, to Steph Curry and LeBron, and age metering them as far as their productivity per age, you got to give Steph his props. When he's 35 years old, cooking like this, and I know we look at all this new medical technology that's keeping these players' longevity, at peak of their powers and increasing it. But when you look at that, how many players are really doing what they're doing at that age? Now, give Steph Curry his props for what he is doing at age 35. I think that he looks good. Even like I've never seen a player look so good at 35 going on to 36, 37, being able to do these type of things. And, LeBron's the only other player that we probably have seen do that outside of maybe, Kobe Bryant before the injuries really started to riddle him.
Yeah.
Another thing to watch is Dame is also about 34 too. So if he can, if he's in that type of lane as well, he'll be getting old soon too. So, but these type of guys, we're going to see a lot more modern players be able to perform between the age of 35 and 37, but it's not as much as we like to say. So, you got to give Steph Curry his props. I mean, outside of LeBron, who else is doing it like him?
Yeah, that's facts. I agree with all that, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I agree with that. Hey, Thomas, what you think though, man?
I agree with you, man. I think, Steph should be in top 5 conversations because, I mean, he's still performing at a high level. And he's, 2 seasons removed from being Finals MVP.
Right.
And like you said, it's no disrespect to other players, but Steph, like, I need my shine too. I've been putting in work. I've been in the league since 2009. A lot of folks thought, and I'm one of them. I thought he was gonna be good in the league, but I didn't think he's gonna be that good. I thought he was gonna be a knockdown shooter, of course. I'm kind of getting off topic, but I thought he was gonna be. I thought he was gonna be a knockdown. I thought he was gonna be a knockdown shooter, but I didn't know he was gonna be that good. But then when I saw he start going ham in like 2013 against the Spurs, I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna be talking about him for a while.
Yeah, man. Like I agree with that. Like, a lot of people can say he overachieved. I mean, he exceeded expectations also because nobody knew how good he was gonna be. But it just goes to show though, like, man, him being age 35, and still being in shape like this, because remember he kind of like a small guard at the end of the day. He's not that athletic, so this how you know that he really has to be in shape. He's really using like stamina and his conditioning. All of that is on point. I want to ask y'all something too, though. So some people say it's kind of different. Some people say like it's different for LeBron because he was in the league for longer. Like Steph he came out of college. He had went to college for a couple years, so they saying it's not the same amount of like mileage. But so what do y'all think? So what do y'all look at longevity? Like, do y'all go off of age, or do y'all go off of that? Like, I personally think that I go off of age, like, cause honestly, I don't know if it really. He still was playing basketball, even though he wasn't in the NBA. You feel me? Right. So I just look at like he still got mileage. I know it's not the same NBA schedule, but I don't know if that really determines like how fast that you would decline. I think it has to do with like age. And plus I didn't even realize Dame was 34 too, by the way.
Right. Yeah, that's another conversation that's going to be had soon. But outside of that, I mean, longevity to me is productivity meeting, a season. So it's like, okay, you could do it 15 plus years, but how good did you do it? Right. I think anything above 15, 16, 17, once you start getting in that range at a consistent basis of productivity, I mean, you definitely are considered a player that has longevity.
Yeah.
Like, I think to not consider it based off of age, I mean, it's a toss-up, but I prefer not to. I just think as long as you're producing on the court for a long period of time, over a decade, the duration of your career, especially if you get to almost 2 decades, how can you say LeBron has longevity, what Stephen Curry doesn't?
Right.
Especially when he dominated his era.
Right.
I agree 1,000%. It's like I go off of age. I go off of like, if you have a 10 plus year, like 10, 11, 12 year prime, that's longevity to me. You feel me? So I'm looking at even like a guy like Kyrie, like, and I know I'd be talking about Kyrie a lot, but
right,
as far as his numbers, he's gonna have some longevity. Cause I mean, he's just somebody that never really tails off. Like when he came into the league, I'm just saying, cause like when you brought up Dame, it just made me think about all these other guys, like Paul George. Like a lot of these guys are still up where like I don't think they're gonna decline that fast. So they're gonna have longevity at the end of the day. Like at the end of their career, like Paul George, Kyrie. I'm trying to think of somebody else. They're gonna be able to be in prime at a old age, like 35, 36. They still be putting up 24 a game.
Primes have been extended and league inflation has taken place, so points per game per player will increase at a larger age than ever. So I mean, players, you're going to see a lot of 35-year-olds cooking more than ever. But the difference is going to be between the superstars that really set the mark at that age and the ones that could push it from 35 to 40, like a Tom Brady, like a LeBron, those type of guys. Those are the ones who will be difference makers. Because I do believe, on average, the league around 34 to 35, we're going to see a lot more players that will be able to maintain their productivity, especially with the scoring inflation.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good point about the Tom Brady's and Brons, like, because you got to be winning. So it's going to be some guys numbers when they older, but guys like Bron, Michael Jordan, because Michael Jordan was 35 on that last one, I think. Those guys having high productivity and winning at that age, like. But then you got the Kareems that probably was still putting up probably like 15 a game. I don't know what it was.
Oh yeah,
but
they can still do it.
Yeah.
I believe if you could produce between the ages of 36 and 38, I mean, the 39, 40, I mean, anything past that is, that's a whole nother stratosphere. But if you're still performing elite at 36, 37, 38, I mean, that's just, we're not expecting that.
Right.
That's different. That's different for sure.
So let me put this picture up, right? Because I believe if Steph does this, if Steph wins another ring this year, this is going to be the Mount Rushmore.
Number 5.
Nah.
What you mean? That's already the Mount Rushmore. I'm playing. Hey, no cap, no crunch. That is my top 3 scorers of all time.
Scores? That's tough.
Scorers. This is MJ, Curry second, and Kobe third.
I got Wilt third.
Fair.
I got Kobe, Mike, and Wilt. But Steph, man, obviously Mount Rushmore is 4, but it'll be him also with LeBron. So it'll be like how it's always been Mike, Kobe, and
Jordan. I'm tripping.
Nah, first it was Magic. I feel
like that's always been my top 3. We said what, Tom?
I said first it was first Jordan, because Bron was still adding to his legacy at the time when we first started talking about Mount Rushmore.
Oh, you prefer Jordan?
No. I'm saying when we first when the Mount Rushmore conversation first started surfacing, we talk about Jordan, Magic, and Bird. But I mean, at the time, Bron was still adding to his legacy,
Oh
and
yeah,
nobody,
that's true. You're right.
yeah, nobody knew who that fourth spot was for because it was up for grabs. They were talking about Bill Russell, Kareem. In some conversations, Will, but
Hmm.
it was still it was just up for grabs for that fourth spot at the time.
Yeah. Ever since I started watching it, my top three has always been like Mike, Kobe, and Bron. Those are three best I've seen. I just been wondering who would be that fourth slot. Like I didn't had Larry Bird right there. I didn't had Wilt. But honestly, I think it would be Steph for the Mount Rushmore as far as his influence on the game and just like I used to hate on it. Like I used to hate Steph. So I actually like when I really sat back and really reflected, started looking back on Steph's career. It's like damn. So Steph is basically the guy like that was just hated for being so good and kept winning. He's the guy that was doing that for this era. So
With his head down too. Doesn't
yeah,
say much, keeps his head down. I mean, most showboating he does is in mannerisms,
yeah,
and
yeah.
they can't stand it.
Yeah, so yeah, that's the guy. And I remember it was kind of like that for Kobe. Like when Kobe was at the end of his prime
Kobe was
winning them
talking
last
shit.
couple of rings, he was the one that everybody hate him like, damn, how you make that shit? Like he keep on doing all this, you feel me, all these wild shots. He keep winning these championships. I hate that, man. Like that's basically what Steph is now. And now he added KD, but the fact of Steph winning without KD, the simple fact of him doing that, to me, that just true. He must just be a better player than KD. It don't like even though KD was kind of the closer and stuff like that when he went there. I don't know, man. That I don't know, bro. Cause look, they try to say that he wasn't. Steph has to be you got to be the best player on all your championship rings and stuff like that. So I think he was the best player on 4 championship rings. He just ain't win Finals MVP for all of them. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? I think that's my personal belief. But they go off of Finals MVPs, and then you gotta like I don't know,
but
bro.
he definitely deserved the Finals MVP over Iguodala. You could really make a case for one of the Finals MVPs against Kevin Durant, but it's just when you look at Kevin Durant, his greatness and what he provided for that team and how perfect the fit was. It was a perfect situation for him to win those Finals MVPs. But people tend to forget the reason that he was tailored to that victory was because of all the spacing created by Stephen Curry, all the scoring gravity and the defensive attention being directed towards Curry more so than Kevin Durant, and that's a statement in itself. So I mean, people just they want to want to make it seem like it's clears one way or clears another way, and they love using that word, but in reality it is a lot closer than you would like to think. And if you do believe
Yeah,
that Stephen Curry edges out, there's nothing wrong with that.
I
yeah,
see your
man.
argument. Argument saying that Steph Curry should have won MVP in 2015, but I think Iggy had more impact than winning than Steph. Now Steph had better numbers, not true enough, but I think when it came to impact, Iggy did a better job.
Oh, so you think Iggy really had so you just think he really just honestly deserved it for real in 2015? I ain't
Yeah,
mad at. Well,
yeah,
honestly, I think
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, I
It's
say
a
that because
narrative award though.
numbers.
It was a narrative award, though, to be honest, because I mean, if you look game for game basis, individually every single game, even when Stephen Curry played, weak at times, you would still say Stephen Curry was more important to those championships than Andre Iguodala. It was the specific moments, the specific plays, the defensive stops down the stretch of that series where they're like, okay, as a narrative builds, well, Iguodala did this in this game. Iguodala did this at this moment in the fourth quarter of this game. And as you build that narrative, by the end of the series, you're gonna be like, well, Iguodala has a strong case for this, and he does, but it's more so based on timing, nuance, and narrative than actually the productivity on the court. Like you got to keep it real. Like you just got to keep it real. Like it's not like he was outplaying Steph every single game. That's not true.
No, I ain't saying that. I'm just saying with the impact.
That's why I said it's
yeah,
extremely nuanced and it is a lot. It is a lot of narrative based type of
Now,
statements with that because honestly, it's timing. That's part of basketball though. It's timing.
I can see why you said that, but I'm just looking at I was just looking at what was going on the floor. Like me, honestly, I don't pay attention to narrative, dog. But I can see why you said that because a lot of folks do. But
Hey,
I went,
timeless. Do you think that Draymond Green had a case over Andre Iguodala by that standard?
Nah, because he was doing a lot of whining too, man. He was like getting a lot of he was getting obvious foul calls over, but he was playing about it. So nah,
I don't know, man. Draymond stepped up almost as big as Iggy in a lot of moments. I ain't gonna lie.
he did. I seen him knock down some threes. I seen him take his defender to the rack with ease. I seen all that, man.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So that's why I said if you're gonna say it's a toss up between Iguodala and Curry, or that it's clear cut Iguodala, then I believe that it's if you compare him to Draymond Green, I honestly believe that it's closer than people would like to think too. So I mean,
yeah.
and nobody will say Draymond Green deserved Finals MVP over Steph Curry. So why would you say Andre Iguodala does?
Well, because he had more impact than him. He had more impact than Draymond.
Slightly, I do believe he had more impact than Draymond that series slightly, but I also believe that Stephen Curry had more impact than the both of them, even with his struggles, because we've seen great superstars struggle. Nobody's sitting here saying that, oh, like even when LeBron had bad series, we don't really typically say that, oh, LeBron is outperformed by this guy and that guy, so that guy deserved Finals MVP. But they'll apply that same statement to Stephen Curry, and that just doesn't make sense to me.
But see, for that reason, you look at how the Cavs or maybe the Heat won. Then you look at how the Warriors won.
And what do you mean by that?
I'm saying like, okay, it's different situations when it comes to certain victories. Like I didn't see that with the Miami Heat and maybe well I just go to Miami Heat. I didn't see it with the Heat, but I saw it with the Warriors. You know, I saw Iguodala make plays late in the game. I seen him, make defensive plays late in the game,
Right.
and I didn't really get see nobody from Miami besides D Wade in 2012 like get big baskets, but I didn't get see nobody being better than
You're saying
LeBron.
there's no clear cut player that you could say would have a case on any of LeBron's finals victories that they should have deserved the
Nah,
finals
nah,
over him.
Well, I
not
would
even D.
say, well, like
Not even D.
I was talking on my bad.
I was just gonna say not even D Wade in 2012. And D Wade was a big reason why they won, man. Because he in the semifinals, the conference finals, and in the finals, he made some. He closed out a lot of them games, man.
Yeah, he did though. Like he was
Okay.
really hooping. I mean, I don't know. It's hard. Like they gave. I remember Reds the other day had said that since they gave Iggy the Finals MVP, they might as well just gave it to Kyrie since they was doing that. Um,
No,
Exactly.
no, I can't agree with that,
Why
man.
not? If it's so if it's so narratively influenced, why not?
yeah, you know what I'm saying. Somebody. Well, I think Kyrie. Like the more I do study it, though, he did have a big argument. Just not, well, honestly, like it's hard to say that because Braun was matching his scoring and then doing other things as well.
Right.
But I'm just saying in general, how they always say like it was undisputed that that Braun was the best player on 4 championship rings. But honestly, for that whole season in 2020, they was having conversations about it, so it can't be undisputed. You feel me? They was having conversations. They were saying they think AD might be the best player on the team. That's what a lot of people said.
Man,
So,
look, for teams that had runs in 2020,
huh?
AD when teams was playing the Lakers and they was making runs on them like in the bubble and all that stuff, AD was coming with the clutch back. It wasn't LeBron,
Yeah,
Who won Finals MVP in 2020?
it
bro.
was Braun.
He didn't deserve that shit.
So he wound up getting it for real. But the whole year
Because
though, they was
everybody, because I always hear all these Lakers fans 24/7 referring to 2020 that AD pretty much wheeled that team to that victory, and they need AD to do it,
facts.
and they need AD to do that again. So if that's the case, why did LeBron deserve that Finals MVP?
Facts. Like, why do they have these fake narratives? Like, why do they say, "Oh yeah, Braun was the best player on 4 championship rings, so he got to be top two"? Like, it just don't make sense to me. But if you really look at it though, Steph, we know he's better than Iggy. Like, even if Iggy did deserve it, we know that he's just like that year though. Steph was the best player on the team. He was the MVP of the regular season, so we know
Yeah,
he
Yeah, he
was the
was.
best player on the team.
he's the only unanimous MVP in history. Outside of that, it's just crazy to me because we've seen players that have due to narrative or situational circumstance in playoffs, finals. We've seen these players get Finals MVP over another player. It may not happen all the time, but
Yeah,
that doesn't necessarily define that a player is better than one another. It could define that a player played better in the series. And even then, it's not always that the player completely outplayed them. It's more so, like I said, like you guys said, situational type of things where it's like, oh, that was a huge play that they needed in Game 6,
Yeah,
and also he did have a good game that game. Then in Game 7, he had several possessions that were crucial to them winning that game. Like those type of stuff can really swing the narrative when you're voting or for the voters.
yeah, no facts, bro, facts. Especially like with the announcers and like people just kind of like just the moments. But then like we think about it though, I mean, because Kawhi Leonard, like this is actually crazy. Like Kawhi Leonard got Finals MVP in 2014. I think he averaged like 16, 17. Then
Right.
Iggy got it for averaging the same thing. He averaged like 16. Then Kyrie averages 27. He don't get it. But it's obvious that he was on the team with LeBron. But when you think about it, like so LeBron won Finals MVP in 2013. So basically, Kyrie has like up to that point, like when Kyrie basically did what he did in 2016, he was I think he averaged the most points in the finals since LeBron on Miami.
Well, they're factoring in that LeBron is all over the court as well, though. That's going to be the argument.
Yeah,
Well, Kyrie
yeah,
only scores. Scoring is the only part of winning basketball games, which I do agree with. But it's just when you put so much stock into a Finals MVP only, it's not good basketball. I mean, have value within it, but I don't put like 100% stock in the Finals MVP.
yeah. I look at your production. Like I look at Steph. We know how good he is in general, and he's played well in the finals every time. That's just how I look at it. Like he has good numbers in the finals every time.
Even when he had his bad numbers, it was 2 games that he shot very poorly. One was 5 for 23. I don't remember the field goal percentage on the other game. But what people fail to realize is statistically, analytically, how a very, very, very low percentage, no matter how well you perform in your other games, will severely bring down your percentages. So if you have
Facts.
2 games like that, okay, you have 2 bad games and 1 mediocre game, and the rest are actually really good performances. At that point, you're dragging down analytically yourself so much just because of 2 really bad performances. But I mean, a bad performance is a bad performance. We've seen Ray Allen go a whole playoffs throughout the playoffs at one point where he was just known for missing so many shots that he would have typically have made, but he wouldn't get that slander. So I
Yeah,
mean, there's a lot of situations where we see superstars underperforming at one aspect of their game, like Jason Tatum, amazing defender. Then when it comes to guarding Andrew Wiggins, he lets him do whatever he wants, and he gets clamped on his end, but he clamped KD. Doesn't make sense. So we see players that have all the capability, but tend to disappear in one aspect of their game or another for whatever variation of a reason. Doesn't mean necessarily that this guy is better than that guy or that they can't perform at that level. Sometimes they'll get them next time type of shit.
yeah. No, that's facts. Like that's a good point. I remember when I first started watching basketball with my uncle. We was watching Ray Allen, but they kept talking about how Ray Allen was off and he was missing. And my uncle did say that, he did ask for saying that. He was like, "Yo, Ray Allen used to be like he normally be hitting this and that, but I don't know. It just
It was a
I think the
shooting slump,
biggest,
bro. Shooters shoot and go through shooting slumps. We're talking about the greatest shooter in history, and he
yeah,
can't have a shooting slump for 2 games.
yeah, because even that series when he was shooting bad for a couple of games, he averaged like 26 though, right, for the series, I think.
Mm-hmm. Hey,
So
Crunch. My bad. Go ahead.
no, I'm just saying 26 is still good numbers to me. Yeah, what you about to say?
I was gonna say it'd be the same people that overhype and want to overvalue Clay when Clay is literally a trigger man. Clay go in there and just shoot, 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 shoot. Whether he's hitting or not, that's what he's gonna do. He's gonna try to shoot himself out of the slump. Then when he
Facts.
catches fire or when he's shooting well, they want to act like he's better than Steph Curry. But when Steph Curry
Facts.
has a shooting slump because he's the
Yo,
greatest shooter in history, they want to hold him to such a high standard, which I understand. But it's an unrealistic 2K-esque standard that you're holding him to. And when he actually does have a bad game, similar to a Klay Thompson, now the value of Klay is so high and the value of Curry so low. Like you guys,
right about
crazy.
because like I was looking at Game 3 of the 2016 finals. I was like, man, why is Clay chucking up all these shots, man?
Shooter's gonna
Like,
shoot. It's his job.
no, look, man. It was one. It was a 1-on-3 fast break. He was literally by himself with the ball with 3 defenders on the other end. Everybody else on in that court. He
Right.
he dribbles and just pulls up for a 3. And Clay did terribly, man. And in the game where Cleveland obviously had the momentum. I'm looking like, man, Clay, what are you doing, man? Y'all already losing, bro. If y'all want to, you can't do this.
Hey, we love him and we hate him whenever he do that shit. But for the most part, we just let him keep shooting because even Curry, the whole Warriors franchise, I mean, if any other player was shot jacking like that and missing that much, they wouldn't care. They would get him out of there. But it's because of the bounce backs that he does have, the clutch shots that he does hit, the screen navigating on offense, the barely having to dribble the basketball to get buckets. All that type of shit is the reason why he's still on the floor today, even with his defense lapsing a bit.
No, I ain't crying. It ain't about him being on the floor. No, that for me, it was just, man, that one game, man.
Yeah, he's had
I
some bad.
never, that was one of the only times I really just saw him just shoot bad, man. And the way it wasn't, they weren't good shots either.
My thing is just don't ever try to act like Klay Thompson isn't the sidekick to Steph Curry. Don't ever try to act like that. He's not the number one option.
Nah, I never said that. But I have said this. I said when he's hot, he looks better than Steph Curry.
Because he's getting set up 9 times out of 10. If Stephen Curry was only catching and shooting as much as just Klay Thompson was, I promise you he'll be better as far as just catching and shooting. And I love Klay's catch and shooting game. I think he's one of the best catch and shoot shooters in history. Honestly, probably I can't even name 3 people better than him. Maybe except like Ray. That's it. Reggie, maybe that's it. I can't really name that many people better than Klay catch and shoot. But if Steph Curry predominantly that was his only focus, I do believe he's right there with Klay. I mean, actually, I believe he's better. So
Well, let me ask you this then. Do you think if Mark Price took more threes, would he be better than Klay Thompson as far as 2-point shooter is concerned?
I don't necessarily know. I mean, it's a hypothetical. I don't necessarily know if he had the more attempts, if it's a guarantee that he would, because Klay Thompson also is a bit bigger, has could shoot more over the top of certain defenders because I mean he is 6'6". He does have a wingspan. Mark Price like what 6'1", 6'2". So I do believe shooting for Mark Price, even on a higher volume of attempts, would still be more difficult in the modern NBA with positionless basketball and more bigger guys out there rotating on the wing and chasing down shots. So I mean, look at Evan Mobley, Miles Bridges, with guys like that are playing at the perimeter. I mean, I can't expect Mark Price, even on a high volume, to shoot a better percentage than a Klay Thompson, who's looks probably more calm and relaxed shooting the basketball. And even outside of just looking, he has, he's taller, so I do expect him to be able to get his shot off a lot more.
No,
Plus, I think
no.
he has a quicker release. So
I get what you're saying. I'm saying like if he had more shots, if he took more threes.
Analytically, I do believe that he could be in a similar conversation with Klay Thompson for sure. If he took more attempts in the modern era.
Yeah, of course you don't talk about it in the 90s. I ain't talking about it in this era.
Right,
That
but
is
I
just,
do
I,
believe that I do
but
believe that the athletes though that will be able to contend him will affect his percentage though. Regardless, I don't expect like just looking at what his percentage was prior, and then if you were to apply it to the modern NBA just off the increase of shots, I don't necessarily believe that that means that he will automatically be within the same percentage realm as Klay. But I still do think that he'll be within like probably 4 or 5% of Klay, something like that.
you know what? That's why I like the old NBA over the new NBA, and not to say that the new NBA is just terrible, but like
Right.
somebody like Mark Price, like somebody his height, you don't see that too much in the NBA now. You don't see nobody shorter than Mark Price in the NBA no more. See, the
Right.
old NBA catered the old NBA catered to players like that, to like players under 6'4", over 6'10".
You got to earn your keep now. I mean, you always had to earn your keep, but now it's even harder to earn your keep. And there's still some short guys, but I mean, look at Patty Mills.
I
Short,
kind of
can
think
shoot the lights out, but what is he really going to do for a roster besides come in for a few minutes, shoot the lights out, and then go back on the bench because he can't do anything else?
I think it's easy because think about it, they don't bang in the paint no more. Even them guys who was like averaging 8 points, they still had to bang and get rebounds and shit, man. They
Hey, I agree
throwing
with that. I agree with that. I do believe if they were banging down low more and playing more low post basketball, how they used to, that it'll be more of an inside out game, and the smaller guards would be able to thrive a little bit more because they'll have more spacing on the outside. But I mean, the league got bigger in general, pause, and I do believe that they would be good at defending that. But I see what you're saying though,
yeah.
as far as inside out, smaller guys had more space back then. I do agree with that, but I also agree that I also think that the perimeter defense back then wasn't that great either, except for a few people here and there.
Yeah, man. It's gonna be an interesting season, man. But I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this stream up, though. It was good talking to y'all, man. Appreciate y'all for sliding.
Ain't no doubt, man. Good chatting with you, bro.
Already, bro.
Take
All
it
right,
easy.
man. One.